Most of the value from the Battle Pass in CZN is in the Battle Pass partner. But which one gives you the most value? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. It's Josh, and we're going over the best partners I know again for the CZN Battle Pass. And that's only because I so strongly have a belief that there's probably literally just one or two you should think about. And one is so good that I'm going to be picking it a second time for myself and leaving it as a second copy. I'm not imprinting it and using it to upgrade the ability. I want a second copy of that partner. So let's start with it. Let's get through it here real fast for you today. The first one, Priscilla, the striker partner. Let's talk about striker partners for a second. If you're a free-to-play player, you're trying to find a good striker partner for a striker character, there are very solid 3- and 4-star options that just give you damage. They're flexible, whether you're using 0 and 1 cost cards, there's a 4-star for that. There's a 5-star for 2 cost cards. There's a 4-star for 2 cost cards. Really, if you look at Priscilla and compare to how many different viable options for striker partners out there, you really just do not need this partner. She's flexible. She can kind of be used anywhere. She's going to give you, bonus damage against targets that are ravaged, but a lot of the time we're not ravaging targets in so many teams at this point in CZN. We're just doing damage and destroying the enemy before we even break their ravage or put them in ravage state a lot of the times. So you don't really gain any big benefits from that. The EP skill is cool. It's going to apply attack weakness to a random combatant card that is equipped from Priscilla. You can make that less random by just having like 1 or 2 cards you're going to cast anyway from the equipped character. And so you can apply attack weakness on that card for some bonus damage or whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just kind of an irrelevant thing just because there's so many good, solid partners for strikers already. 4-star, 3-star, and even other 5-star options. It's one of the most popular partner classes we have currently. I would heavily advise you to just avoid this one a lot of the times out there. I think there's just too many other things that you could get value from. If we move over to Eishlen, who is going to be the Vanguard partner out here. If you're trying to buff up your Vanguard, typically we're talking about 2 characters for the most part, right? We have Magna and we have Khalipe out there currently. Do you need this partner for them? This is going to increase the assigned combatant's health as well as shield gain, which is cool. And then when you gain a counterattack for the first time, you're going to gain a 15% defense damage bonus amount for that turn. The EP skill as well costs 4 points, which is very expensive. It gives 100% shield, and then at the end of the turn, you can retain 50% of your shield. You can use this if you're trying to cheese out there with these high shield based damage dealing characters. With the EP skill where you just gain a bunch of shield, you want to make a nice YouTube thumbnail, you use the ego skill, you retain that shield for 50% of it. Next turn you gain more shield and you do damage based off of your shield with Maribel or something. But for the long-term investment, the BP right now where we are, where we can only be gaining access to the second Battle Pass partner, unless you're someone out there who's just trying to maximize the cool guy stuff you're doing with Maribel, the cool guy stuff you're doing with Magna, I would also avoid this one. The 4-star and 3-star partners will get you by just fine on Vanguards, and there is a even better 5-star partner that you can go check out and pick up if you've been pulling a fair amount with your saved currency that you can pick up in the shop if you're trying to max out someone like Magna or Khalipe instead, which you'd use way over a BP partner like Eishlen. So if you're looking for a 5-star maximum thing, this isn't going to be it. And I would finally advise you to just not even really think about that. Solia is next here, and this is going to be a Ranger partner. It's fine, but let's talk about one thing for sure. All right, let's get through this card. Extra attack damage, great. Plus 20, amazing. And then when the assigned combatant draws for the first time each turn using an ability, plus 10% attack card damage for 1 turn. Space-Time Rift is the active EP skill that just does some damage and marks something. This is so low value to the point that I'm literally going to pull up. I'm literally going to have to pull up a 3-star partner here for us to take a look at, which is none other than Nokia. And you can get this thing imprinted multiple times. The attack increase, which is an attack increase, it's actual straight up attack, is strong. It's very good. as a 3-star alone. And then it also can give, you know, damage percent bonuses when somebody defeats an enemy, which isn't going to be applied in like single target boss scenarios. But we've seen some scenarios with bosses now where, and it's very important to bring this up because it really shows us the design development side of what the dev team wants to do when it comes to bosses, which is utilize some like small enemies every once in a while with the boss as like a mechanic. So you can actually gain benefit from not just having a sizable attack increase, but also get benefit in those scenarios of when an ally defeats an enemy, you're gonna gain this backline support, which is just a damage percent bonus for attack cards. And it's going to last up to 3 stacks there. And while we're here, we're going to talk about Rosaria for a second, who is incredibly powerful. It does have some nice ways to boost up extra attacks and give your team morale as well if you put this on a more supportive type ranger character. But in addition to that, it does have the EP skill. 2 EP draws an upgrade card, and if there's no upgrade cards in your draw pile, it just draws you a card, which one is the cheapest ways to just draw a card on a partner in Chaos Zero Nightmare. And so you have several good options for ranger partners already. So if we're looking at something like Solia here, if you're trying to do damage on your ranger, we have a 3-star partner that's really good. If you're trying to do supportive stuff like extra attacks like Solia buffs here, we have a 4-star partner that does that and can help you draw cards as well for 2 EP. So I would also avoid this one almost at all costs. Then we have the Hunter partner, which is going to give crit chance increase, which we like, of combatants equipped attack cards by 8% at refinement rank 1. And then in addition to that, when you do crit, you're going to get a stacking crit damage bonus. This is very nice. It's very cool. It reads well. It's going to help you crit a little bit more. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing that this thing's giving you is the stats of it being a 5-star partner, which can be a little bit higher than a 4-star or a 3-star would be, and just a tiny bit of crit chance and a tiny bit of crit damage. In comparison to some of the other 3-star and 4-star options out there, having something that is just like attack percent bonus a lot of the times is going to be equivalent to the benefit you're going to gain from this partner, simply because you're not going to have all of the highest crit chance in the world to take advantage of the crit damage. The crit chance at R1 is only 8%. It can be higher if you get multiple of this BP partner, but you can just wear a 3-star partner, and even though it has a lower base stats, it's giving you attack increase. So really all you're gaining from this is just a small amount of crit chance and a small amount of crit damage. All the 3-star partners and 4-star partners actually have like attack bonus and attack card damage increase as well. And a lot of those times it's going to outweigh the damage bonus that you're going to gain from a small amount of crit chance and crit damage added to your Hunter character. The EP skill also doesn't save it, although it is kind of nice in some scenarios if you're trying to do some weird stuff. The ability for you to use 3 EP to apply 2 vulnerable is actually kind of nice if you're trying to do some cheesy stuff, because remember, in CZN, you can equip any partner to any character class. You don't have to put this on a Hunter character. The Hunters are the things that gain the passive, but any character wearing this partner can use the EP skill. So if you're concocting some weird build out there where you want to just maybe max out like a Haru anchor, right, to the maximum amount, and you want to drop vulnerable on something, and just do a bajillion damage that way, you could technically put this on like a control character or a tank or something and just use the EP skill there. And that's more for like some cheesy kind of funny one-shot YouTube clip highlights, just to eke out a little bit more damage in your screenshot. But I did want to mention it because it is a little bit funny out there, and it does give anyone access to a nice way to boost up any DPS's like big one-shot hit you move, which is pretty neat. Now then we have Anteia, who is going to be one of the few psionic options that we have in the game. It is going to give HP increase in damage bonus of a small amount of 8%. And then when a card is created for the first time by the assigned combatant each turn, you're gonna get 8% attack card increase as well. And simply just like the Hunter partner, the EP skill here also allows you to put vulnerable, but this time instead of 2 stacks of vulnerable on a single enemy, this is 1 stack of vulnerable for 2 EP on all enemies. So you can kind of do this similar situation where you can put this partner on anybody you want, and for 2 EP you can apply vulnerable to everyone, which is a nice little deal out there. You can put this on Tressa, right? For instance, in the Tressa Cassius combo thing, you build your Cassius up to like a 2,500, you know, 000 quest reward. Pop this for 2 EP, hit everything with vulnerable, and then just throw the card at them and do even more damage. So it's kind of nice that the EP skill is so cheap in a team like that. The damage bonuses are nice as well, but also very similar to, like we talked about before, some of the 3-star options that just give you like 16% attack percent increase. Sometimes those will be better during certain circumstances. That being said, this one is a pretty nice partner, and if I was to pick any partner, it would be this one, due to the fact that there's so few psionic partners out there. A lot of the psionic options don't really do crazy things. Like Eloise is the 4-star option. The 3-star option's fine, but it doesn't have any like game-breaking mechanics associated with it. And the new one that just came out with Chizuru is kind of whatever. So you really have Anteia and the other 5-star partner that you just have to randomly pull on the standard banner to try to obtain. And because of that, and the fact that this has this nice little EP skill you can mess around with and get some big damage bonuses off of it, it's a fantastic pickup option for you. But it's going to pale in comparison to Nyx. Now, Nyx is the final one we're talking about. We did them in order, and Nyx is a busted partner. This character is just broken. It's a control partner, which is awesome because you're going to be able to get the passives on control characters, and control characters oftentimes outside of Chaos don't really want to use the 4-star partners that they traditionally want to use inside of a Chaos run. And those 2 partners typically are going to be either Arwen or Alyssa inside of Chaos. I still to this day use Alyssa inside my Chaos runs just because the auto battle heal is pretty relevant and just makes it so you can kind of turn your brain off a lot inside of Chaos. But if you get back to the Battle Pass partner, the EP skill is what's so broken about it. I mean, it's 4 EP, which is pretty expensive like we talked about, but you can discard up to 3 cards and it's going to draw you that many cards plus an additional 1. And when we're outside of Chaos, we're trying to do broken things, we're trying to hit certain turn limits, right? So we can get the high scores or aim for the leaderboards, or just you want to ask the question of what's the most broken thing I can do in a card game. A lot of the times it's to convert 1 resource into drawing a bunch of cards. And the way that this EP skill works with how deck building in this game really is, where how it is now, at the start of the game, everyone thought removing like all of your bad cards was the best way to build a deck, but it's too expensive to do that. And realistically, the right answer is to get those divine blessings, those divine epiphanies, duplicate the best cards in your deck, remove a couple of them, but you're still going to have per character like 1 or 2 cards you really don't care to draw at any given time. And Nyx allows you to just say, oh, okay, those cards that you don't want to draw, those cards that are kind of fumbling what a good hand would be, spend 4 EP, discard those 2 cards that are kind of garbage, and then draw an additional card. So the fact that this is straight up card draw and allows you to just gain access to the best part of your save data for any of your characters and give you a better chance at doing that is absolutely busted biscuits. And this is the card I'm going to be picking a second copy up for because of the EP skill alone. You can run a double Nyx team and just make sure you can always constantly turn 4 EP into drawing the best cards out of your deck, because we generate so much EP on those teams already anyway, especially if you have some divine epiphanies on something like Gear Bag that gives you AP, or maybe some other neutrals that will just give you AP when they're played. It's very easy to cycle through multiple Nyxes even in the same team. And yeah, you can put 2 Nyxes on 2 different controllers or 2 Nyxes on 2 different characters and just make sure you always have that bad boy up for the most part. You can also, obviously, in content that requires 2 different teams where you need to use 6 characters, put a Nyx on one team, put a Nyx on a second team, and you will always have that consistency available to you there, which is a very powerful thing. So for what I'm doing, I'm picking up a second copy of Nyx this month, and I don't think I'll go for 3. I do think that there is a world where you can pick up 3 copies of Nyx, and you can have like a double controller team, or a team that wants to use 2 of them, and then for your secondary team, another Nyx there as well. I think that that is incredibly powerful and probably stronger than picking duplicate Nyxes or duplicate of a battle pass partner and just smushing them together to get a better passive effect. The ability for you to gain access to multiple casts of this EP skill is worlds apart and much better than anything else you can gain from the battle pass. If you found this interesting out there, you want to see more stuff like this, you know what to do. Drop it down below, check out the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.